All right, 15 minutes. We need to talk. Meaning I do all the talking and you listen. And if there's any pauses anywhere when I'm talking, that's not a green light for you to start talking. Because I learn best by talking things out, by hearing myself talk. I also learn best by writing things out and reading what I write. Those are the way I process things. But no, really, that's not what I want to talk about. I mean, I do, but I'm not going to. But what I do want to talk about is the Rise here in Bentonville, Arkansas. The Rise, it's an outdoor staircase. Goes from the bottom of the hill in the Collar Mountain Bike Preserve Park. It's got walking trails that goes through the middle of the valley. And it's got biking trails on each side. And about mid-park is the stairs. The Rise. And what it consists of, hang on, let me take my glasses off because I'm at that age where I see double vision. Okay, the bottom level platform is 11 feet. And the first rise is 20 steps. And that first platform, I guess you'd say that first section of that 20 steps, has a platform that goes to the next set of steps, and that's 13 feet 3/4 inches long. And then you got 76 steps that goes to the second rise, and then that platform in between that and the next section is 20 foot 8 inches and 3/4 inch long. And then in between from that you got 18 steps up to the third rise, and that's 20 feet long 3 inches. And then from that, you got 17 steps up to the fourth rise, and that's 11 and 15/16 inches long. And then from that up to the fifth rise is 31 steps, and that rise there, that platform, is 21 feet 2 inches and 9/16 long. And then from that platform to the next section is 18 steps, and then when you get to the top of that, it's 20 foot 1 inch 3/4 inch long. And then on the very last rise, it's a kind of a funky section because it's flat, and then it's got like these flat stones on it. You'd have to see it to know what I'm talking about to go to the top. And that has three micro, we call them micro rises, and they're 3 foot and 8 inches and 8 3/4 inches long, roughly, because they're made out of stone. And the rise on them, the height of them, they're pretty small steps. They're 2 inches, 8 3/4. Or wait a minute, no, I said it wrong. They're 2 foot 8 3/4 long lengthwise. And then on that last platform is that step that goes up into the last 12 steps to the very top of the rise is 2 foot 10 inch and 5/8 long to those last 12 steps to rise. And to get a little more in depth, here's what we got. Here's what we got. This is what's up. Okay, the tread and the rise. What the tread is the length that you step on, and the rise is the face of the step. So these are the measurements on that very first rise. That's 20 steps, and they average 11 1/4 for the steps, and then 7 1/4 on the up down on those 20 steps. And then you go into the next section, the big kahuna of the 76 steps. Its tread and rise measurements are, let's see, 7.5 inches high and 11.5 inches. 11.5 inches tread and 7.5 inches rise. And then the next section of that 18 steps between the second and third rise is an average of 7.5 high and 11.5 long. Now, the reason I started putting in the average, I've noticed at the very top of the rise and at the very bottom of the rise, their measurements are pretty accurate. But them other steps in between, I don't know why, if they did that on purpose, just to mix it up a little bit, they vary as much as a 1/2 inch on the rises. That's a lot. And they vary as much as a 1/2 inch also on their treads too. So that's a lot also. So the step and the rise can vary quite a bit. So it really, yeah. So it brings in a whole new extra focus. It is designed to really trip you up, so to speak. It's designed to work you out. That's what the stairs are for. Anyways, let's move right along. What was we on? We was on the third rise. Was it the third? The 18 steps in between the second and third rise is an average of 7.5 inches high and 11.5 inches long. And then in between the next third and fourth rises of that 17 steps, they also average 7.5 to 11.5. Now, this can go all the way from just 7 to 7.5 to 11 and to 11.5 and a little bit more. You know, like it's there's some difference there. And then in between the fourth and the fifth rise on that 31 steps section is 11.5 inch treads and 7.5 inches rises. And on this section, I don't know why, it goes back to pretty much, that's pretty standard. Those 11, I didn't like measure each one, but I went to like every other one or every other second one, you know, to get a good feel of it. And I noticed in between that last section we just talked about, there's great variances in that. And then this one, when you get into the fourth and the fifth rise, in between that, the measurements are a little more exacting in that. And then you get up into that rise in between the fifth and sixth steps, and those are pretty accurate also. And they're in between 7.25 high and wait a minute, why didn't I write a tread on that? But anyways, I do believe on that one. I don't know why I didn't write that. But anyways, it's like a foot. They're like all 12 inches. I can't remember if it's that one or that one. I guess I must have lost focus. And then on those micro rises, yeah, it was. I remember it now. But anyways, so back to that. I know, I fucked it up. I know, it was going so good, right? Excuse my French. But anyways, yeah, it goes into 12-inch treads, and they're accurate. They're a good 12-inch tread, so they're pretty wide steps. So you're stepping wide when you get to that point. And to that point, whether you walked it, jogged it, ran up it, crawled up it like a turtle, you're probably getting some serious fatigue right there on that last one. Doesn't matter what good shape you're in or what age you are. And then when you get to that very, very last micro rise that has those little bitty stone steps in it, it has a weird angle to it that slopes up. It's not flat, it slopes. And then as it slopes, it reaches those last 12 steps. And those last 12 steps, ready for it? 9.5 inch rise. So it goes from 7.5 to 9.5 inch rise. So it's like the last 12 steps, it's like it's really brutal. You have to really lift your legs as if you wasn't hurting already. And the treads on that are a 11 5/8 average. So they're just right at 11.5. So, anyways, no, I did tell you wrong. No, it's that first step. That first step on that rise. When you first step onto that rise, that first step on that last strip is 9.5. Is 9.5. You know, I wondered, because there's been times I go there and I work out, and it's like I like to go to total fatigue just to see where the max is at, and you get to tripping up and falling down and shit and tripping out, and you know what? It's in these sections where they got these little tripper-uppers where their measurements aren't exact. When they're shaving off a ½ inch and more, and the rises are a ½ inch difference from the rest of the rise, I think that's what does it. But now that I know what's there, I can get it a little bit dialed in better. So the rest of those steps all the way to the very last one, so the last 10 or 11 are 7.5 inches, and they're pretty accurate. I think I measured each one of those, and they are 7.5. But anyways, there you go. That's the specs on the rise. I've tried it several times. The challenge is get to the bottom to the top in 27.9 seconds. 27.9 seconds, bottom to top. If you sit down there and just kind of watch the people going up and down it that just walk up it casually, you know, they're just up there like sightseeing. They're not like exercising or anything. Just kind of look at them and look at your stopwatch and just kind of watch your stopwatch and count that section as they go through there, and you think, well, they're making pretty decent time just moseying up there, just walking up it casual. It's like there should be no reason why somebody could train themselves to blast out 27.9 seconds or under 28 seconds. You would think. I've tried it several times the other day. Okay, 3 times the other day, and I tried it, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I tried it 7 times today. The first time I tried it, I blasted up it, and I got to the, what was it? I got it 98 steps in it. Or no. Hang on. When it comes to some of these notes, it's chicken scratch, and I got to really look at it, because I write this stuff out, I'm huffing and puffing and trying not to sweat on the paper because it starts ripping as you're writing on it. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's take it from the back side. Okay, the last time I tried it, I decided to go ahead and time it from the very top to the bottom to see if I could just fly down to the bottom of it. I think, well, you think you're going downhill, you know, it should be easy. Should be able to get it in 27.9 seconds, thus proving that it's possible to do it the other way. Well, no, coming down it the fast, I mean, just flying down it like a psycho. I mean, with that fear that you're going to fall, break your neck, break your legs, break your arms, fall down the freaking rise. I did it in 49 seconds, or 49.2 seconds. That's from top to bottom, from going to the top to the bottom, going down, just flying like a psycho. And I thought, wow. It's like somebody would literally have to do better than that going up it to reach 27.9 seconds. And this brings us to our conclusion. The Roger Bannister dude. I don't have the thing on it, but anyways, back in, I think, the 50s, you know, he did a 4-minute mile. 4-minute mile. It was scientifically proven, the scientists proved it, the doctors proved it, that it was literally humanly impossible, that your heart would pop, you would freaking die. The body can't do it, but he fine-tuned himself so well and got to know himself so well and how he functions in his body so well and how his mind operates with his heart and lungs so well in relationship to the ground so well. He did a 4-minute mile. And you know what's crazy? Nobody could do it until he did it. And after he did it, everybody and their dog started doing it. And even to this day, they still do it. Not by a lot, but a little bit. Thus brings me to the point. Which one of us is going to be the next Roger Bannister? Yeah. Welcome to the NWA. The rise. It's time to rise. Get you some. See you in the funny papers.